Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist, nomadcapitalist.com, and the author of this book, Nomad Capitalist, available on Amazon. I want to walk you through a personal journey that I've been through today when it comes to international investments, making investments around the world, and share with you a particular failure that I have learned from, along with a couple of lessons that I've learned along the way that you can apply. You might actually be shocked by what I'm going to say, so definitely stick around for the video. So one of the things that I do, as you know, over the last 11 years, I've been to almost 100 countries in terms of looking to research how things actually work on the ground. Data, demographics, raw information, statistics, that is all important. I do look at that stuff. But for me, the number one thing to really learn how a place works is to go there, see the culture, see the people, see how things actually work, see what is needed to get things done. And what I found is often a big chasm between what people who think, people who sit in their armchairs, or the armchair expats, people who are sitting in their home country doling out advice on the blogosphere. They will say a lot of things can be done, and then you'll go there and it can't be done. And so what I've tried to learn is real world, what can be done, what can't be done. What I've also learned over that time is that a lot of the people who consume that advice and even who dole out that advice often aren't really practicing what they preach. So if someone comes to me and I say, hey, I just invested in Cambodia, they might say, ooh, a little scary for me. I'm just going to stick to what I'm doing here in Australia or in the United States, even though they complain about all the problems in those countries. So what I eventually decided to do several years ago is I decided to run some experiments investing in the United States. I acquired 2 homes in a part of Ohio that I knew would never appreciate in value but had pretty good income. I'll talk about those in a separate video. What I also did was I also went on to one of these crowd equity or crowdfunding platforms for real estate. And I wrote an article about this a while back. The platform is called Realty Shares. And about 2 years ago, I wrote an article detailing some of my frustrations with their platform. It ended up going viral, and a lot of people viewed it. Realty Shares themselves called me with one of those kind of corporate apologies. And they were very nice, but it didn't fix the fact that a lot of the deals just didn't proceed as were planned. And so I had 2 final deals that were just getting started around the time or shortly after that article came out. So I wanted to give it a fair shake. And I just got the word back on these 2 final deals that have been in limbo for well over a year now. I think some of them were funded close to 2 years ago now. That one of the deals is closing in the next week. Now, you know how that goes in real estate, especially in the United States. It's always closing next week, next week, next week. Kind of like the plane is always taking off in 5 minutes. They've just got to fix something. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, get off the plane. But let's take Realty Shares at their word. I got an email from them this morning, just as I was heading out, and they said, hey, your deal's going to close, but you're taking an 8.6% haircut because the sale that we took over through uncontested foreclosure was a short sale, and we knew the project wasn't finished, but we discovered what it appears to be, and I don't think they actually said this, so I don't want to put words in their mouth, but what appears to be there were some subcontractor liens placed on the property, or that were going to be placed on the property. Things came out of the woodwork for this property that the developer couldn't complete. The developer, it sounds like, had cut some corners, and all this is just my kind of interpretation. But the bottom line is, due to these different things that were unforeseen, whether they could have been foreseen or not, who knows, I'm taking an 8.6% haircut. Now, to me, not getting all of your money back is failure. I guess to a lot of other people, failure is you put the money up and someone runs off with it and you never get any of it back. That has happened to me once on a very small level on an international basis. And I did that as a test, and I kind of expected that was a possibility. When it comes to the Realty Shares deal in the United States, I think if I go back and add up the income I made when the loan was performing, I think I come out about even. So basically, I just lent these people, I lent through this platform $5 grand, not a lot of money. I lent $5 grand to the platform, and basically here I am year and a half, 2 years later, back where I started, as if it would have just been sitting in my checking account, minus the occasional drama of these updates from realty shares. And so to me, I would consider that a failure for this reason. Every single deal I've done investing in the United States since I decided, okay, let me put my personal feelings about the U.S. aside. Obviously I left the United States a number of years ago. I disagreed with a lot of the things. I never particularly felt like it was my country. But eventually, due to requests from people that I was helping and due to my own personal curiosity, I said, you know what, let's just give it a shot. Let's just put in a nominal amount of money into different projects in the US and let's see what happens. Every single one of those projects is going to be similar to this deal that's coming back with an 8% haircut. Every single one of the projects I've done in the United States follows a similar trajectory. You make some income for a while, eventually there becomes a problem. Either you need realty shares to come in and remediate it, or in one case I had to bring in a family friend attorney in to remediate it, and he did a great job. So there wasn't a lot of drama on these projects because there are people in the US who can help you fix it, whether it's through the Realty Shares platform, who I'm not convinced is that great, but at least I don't think about it, or through my own personal attorneys. So across the board, made the income, then the income stopped, there was some kind of problem, then there's some drama, then there's some things to fix. Then it comes back, okay, fine, we're gonna sell, but oops, yeah, we discovered this. The same thing happened, which again, I'll discuss in another video, with some other properties I owned where, someone let a pipe freeze and explode, and you would have made a profit on the sale and kept the income, but now you've got to pay this water bill. The bottom line is this. This is not a video about real estate in Ohio. It's not a video about realty shares. What it is a video about is that while I've invested in a lot of countries overseas, including some pretty exotic countries that people haven't heard of or would be afraid to invest in, I've done fine in those countries. Every exit I've had on a foreign property was positive. I've never lost any money. And in fact, right now I'm actually selling a property that I bought for an immigration purpose, and the time has passed where I can now sell it. And actually, I was willing to sell it for a small loss. Just, I didn't really want the property. I got it. It served its purpose. Now I want to sell it. Hey, I'll take whatever I can get. Let's just get it into better investments. It turns out I'm actually going to make much more of a profit than I expected. I'm actually going to make like, I think I'm actually double my money on the deal. What's interesting is that all these exotic places that people are afraid of, where people complain there's no liquidity, that people complain that there's the potential for the government to come in and cause you problems. I've had zero problems in those countries my entire career. Now, I'm not saying that you'll do the same. Obviously, all the work that I've done on the ground, all the people that I know have come in handy to make sure that I make smart deals. And in the United States, I will stand by the fact that I made smart deals as well, which is why I'm not totally losing my shirt, which is why I'm able to handle a huge water bill that was unforeseen and still come out relatively okay. But what I've learned from my investments in the United States is, even if you think, hey, I'm from there, I speak the language both literally and metaphorically, there's a wide open marketplace of people to service your investments, from property managers to all the different people you need. All the different things should be in place in the United States, and yet I've only had problems. And I think that on the money that I've invested, I expect probably to lose around that range, 8, 9, 10% on the actual principal. I'll make most of that back in the income that I earn. So basically, it's just been a wash. For an experiment point of view, I guess you can't say it's that bad to have an experiment where you basically break even after 2 years. But obviously, I value my time. I value the effort that I put in. And I value opportunity cost. And had I put that money in other stuff, I could have made some other money. Obviously, in my business, I can now go to people who ask me for my help, and I can say, no, you're forbidden to invest in Ohio. Don't do it. I know you got that email from that website promising huge returns, but no, you're going to see how miserable it's going to be. So now I can go and do that and tell people my experiences, and that'll be beneficial to others. So in that benefit, it helps my business to have done this experiment and to have broken even. But on an opportunity cost level for you, then it's not really going to be a good idea to go and put your money in the United States. Obviously, there are plenty of people investing in the United States. They have no problems. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments in this video from people saying, I have rental properties in, Tuscaloosa, and it's going wonderful, and I love it, and why would I ever go to, okay. This is just my personal experience. Whenever I've done stuff as a distance investor, whenever I bought package products, whenever I bought turnkey products, whenever I bought stuff where I have a personal knowledge about it, it's all done poorly. Not so poorly that it's really hurt me, but hasn't lived up to the expectations. And there have been a lot of issues because obviously dealing with the legal management of stuff in the United States, taxes, legalities, housing codes, that kind of stuff is much more serious than it is in some other countries. Definitely what I have learned is I want to stay away from investing in the United States, particularly now that I'm not a U.S. citizen. I think that the whole consequences of filing U.S. tax return this year to close out any of my U.S. investments will be mildly frustrating, but that is one man's experience on investing in the United States. Everything looks great on paper. Everyone sells stuff. The United States is one of the most sophisticated places to invest, and a lot of people in developing countries want to invest there. But my personal experience in other countries, having the right support system has been far better, and I haven't seen any of the things that people in countries like the United States predict will happen to me, but all those things have happened to me in the United States. Kind of like projection, if you've ever taken a psychology course. Now, if you want to learn more about the idea of investing overseas, I am not an investment advisor. I'm just a guy who does this stuff and works on legal tax reduction, how to get second citizenships and second residences, and sometimes buying real estate or making other investments is part and parcel with that. I've learned a lot about this myself over the years. 3 things I would suggest you do. Number 1, go and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Number 2, get the book on Amazon. There's a lot of 101 level information for someone who's new, who maybe wants to diversify outside of the US. Number 3, if you've been here for a while and you still haven't gone to nomadcapitalist.com to read a lot of our articles and check out the more advanced materials, definitely go to nomadcapitalist.com and get started on your personal journey.